Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Dur-A-Flex at Home with Steph. I have Sam Sachs joining me, the Northeast Regional Manager. Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Doing great. How you doing today?
I'm great as well. So, Sam, now that things are opening up, how do you think the flooring industry is going to change with those new openings and the new rules that we have and just these changing times?
It's a kind of a complicated question, but I'll try to answer it because job sites are opening up now, but it's not like it was before, where there are subcontractors on top of one another working in a really close proximity. Some buildings have limited it to 25 people, some as low as 10 people come into the construction, into the overall building for the construction.
And what about, the phases? Do you think the phases will also affect, phase one of opening, phase two of opening, phase three? Do you think things will continue to change as we go into each phase?
Oh, one big thing that's happening is the PPE, and all of our contractors always wore PPE when they're installing our flooring systems and doing surface preparation. But it's just even getting into the building with the temperatures being taken. So they're not as efficient on the job site as they were before. So in an 8-hour day, they might be losing an hour a day to just protocol with COVID-19 that companies need to do, general contractors are using on a job site. So that's slowing everything down.
Yeah, that makes sense to take the necessary precautions, but also you need to be able to do your job.
We were fortunate that some of the manufacturing companies where we were doing floors were actually making components that were used in the ventilators. So those projects continued because there was such a mass need for these respirators, and those jobs, the schedules got pushed forward, and those companies were able to do those flooring projects. So when contractors are coming back to work on projects now, there needs to be some empathy from the general contractor to help schedule work. Maybe times when the flooring was ready to go in, maybe it's an electrician or a plumber needs to come in and do some work. So some of the sequencing of the installations might need to get moved around in the next couple of months, so all work can get installed on a project.
Yeah, I think, being able to be flexible and make those changes in scheduling and just everyone be a little bit more empathetic and understanding and just have some patience because things are different and we are still adjusting to all the steps that we had to take to make those precautions. And now going back to work is going to be a little bit difficult right off the bat. So as contractors are trying to keep their same schedule and they're trying to complete their jobs on time, we have to make sure that, they're not missing a step. They're not rushing the job. And I know moisture is a really big concern on jobs. The weather's changing. It's starting to get humid as well. Any tips or things that you like to tell the contractors
Sure.
and look out for?
Sure. Well, with humidity, when it gets warmer quick, then we're really concerned about dew point. And dew point is something that really a contractor should have a moisture meter and be checking. That's more of an environmental condition. In
Mhm.
our flooring systems, we always want the slab temperature to be 5 degrees above the dew point. And there's tools now that are really easy for the foreman of the crew to use to measure that. So sometimes when you first walk in the morning, if it's not a climate controlled building, it's not, the conditions aren't right to apply the coating, and you need to get some air circulation in the building and give it a few hours to get to the proper conditions. Having the proper environmental conditions for the flooring system to bond to the concrete is paramount. And something that goes along with that is also with the construction projects that have been delayed, is we can't skip the step to check the concrete to make sure it's at the proper moisture levels before we can install any of our flooring systems. And
Yeah, that's so important. If there's too much salt, too much moisture, the system won't work.
there's always time in the schedule, the job to fix the floors at the end. But sometimes it always seems like everything is rush and not enough time to do it right the first time. So we really have worked with our flooring contractors over the years, as well as trying to educate architects, engineers, and general contractors on why we want to test the concrete for moisture and contaminants in the substrate. So when we put a flooring system down, we do it once and it lasts for a long time, and they get good value for the products that we sell.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, wouldn't you rather have the floor go down right and never have to think about it again versus having all these hiccups down the road or during the installation process?
We like to do repeat business for companies. We don't want to do the same floor over again. I want to do an addition onto the building or an area that they're renovating to increase their manufacturing space.
And I do think our flooring contractors are really good in that they make sure the floor goes down right the first time.
There's a pride in workmanship. So our contractors love when their floors are shown and pictures are shown and the floors look great. I think one of the worst things that really affects contractors and the laborers and finishers on the crew is when they have to come back and do a repair when someone damages their floor, or if there can be an issue with moisture in the concrete and the floor needs to be removed, and have a moisture mitigation system be applied and then reapply the floor. And no one likes to take up their floors that look great.
Yeah. And when moisture becomes an issue, it's unfortunate, but it's something that every job site needs to look out for, with new and old concrete. And you actually have an upcoming webinar talking about moisture in projects and, the issues that come up and then solutions and how to handle moisture. And I will actually place a link in the description below for that webinar to register and to watch.
I'm really excited about the upcoming webinar on moisture. I've been dealing with moisture for the last 35 years in my residence flooring career, and it's something I live it and breathe it every day. And I'm really excited to have the opportunity to go in depth and explain things that I've learned along the way, that we as a company have learned, and trying to bring the whole industry up and get people current on moisture and osmotic blistering and what the differences are in concrete.
Yeah, and I mean, continuous improvement, continuous learning, it's awesome. And to take your experience and to share that knowledge, I'm really looking forward to the webinar,
Yeah.
Sam.
We're gonna touch base. We're gonna look on existing concrete, how to identify signs if a building is potential to have a moisture problem before you do the floor. And that's when you're really a benefit to the building owner and the general contractor. You identify issues ahead of time. Everyone looks like a genius after when there's a moisture problem and you can actually see the floor is blistering. But if we could predict it in advance
Hmm.
and tell them how to remediate it and how to put in a flooring system that's not going to be affected, that's when it's great for everyone in the whole construction process. So that's
Yeah,
what we're going to talk about, and look forward to it.
yeah, I'm really excited for it. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Sam. I really appreciate it. This was a great conversation. I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to stay safe, and I'm excited to watch the webinar.
You as well, and I will look forward to seeing you.